Hello and welcome back to Shut Up, I'm Reading! On this episode, I'm going to be reviewing John Green's new book, Turtles All the Way Down. The book itself sums up the story by saying that 16-year-old Asa never intended to pursue the mystery of fugitive billionaire Russell Pickett, but there's a $100,000 reward at stake, and her best and most fearless friend Daisy is eager to investigate, so together they navigate the short distance and broad divides that separate them from Russell Pickett's son, Davis. So it kind of sets itself up as like a mystery that Asa and her friend is trying to solve with the help of this guy Davis, who she used to know. But really, I think this story, like any good coming-of-age story, and most young adult books, is about Asa herself. Asa struggles with mental health and trying to figure out how she fits into this world, and her friendship with Daisy, they've been friends since kindergarten, and how that evolves and changes as they grow up. And of course, there's a guy involved, Davis. So there's romantic feelings and trying to discover that for the first time, whilst having this setting of trying to solve this mystery and figure out where Davis' father, who's a billionaire, has disappeared off to. I think the book does a really good job of balancing both the mystery plot that it kind of draws you in with, together with the coming-of-age story. And that's really what I liked about it the most, that at its core, this is about Asa. It's about a 16-year-old girl. And whilst the mystery was fun and kind of kept me going, trying to figure out, where is he? It wasn't the focal point. And especially, I really liked that the love story, spoilers, not really, it's a young adult book and there's a girl who meets a guy. It's pretty obvious that there's gonna be a love story. The love story doesn't pull the focus either, and that's something I'm really big on. I quite like believable love stories in young adult fiction because I don't think most young adult books does a very good job of portraying kind of like first relationships and all that, and I think I was just about to call it Fault in Our Stars. It's not. I think Turtles All the Way Down does a really good job of that. It's not overly romanticized, like, it's not a, oh my god, he's so attractive and I can't not mention how attractive he is every 5 pages. It's very much two old friends like rediscovering each other, and it's very down to earth. Also, the love story kind of serves a purpose to show us more about how Asa's mental health issues work, and it kind of sets that up as well. So I think it serves a really nice purpose, and it fits into the plot. It doesn't feel like it's just been shoved in there because every young adult book needs some kind of straight love. So yeah, I wasn't mad at it, and I've lately been feeling quite mad at love in young adult books. Also, the ending of the book was really lovely. I'm not gonna say what it is, other than the fact that it was a bit of a twist, and I didn't quite see it coming, but I thought it was a very nice way to kind of wrap it all up, and it put the story into perspective a lot, and I think it really pulled it all together for me. And yes, I was trying to hold back some tears, as one does when you read John Green books, but it was in like the best kind of way. It was because that the story and Asa and her character had touched me, and the way, like I said, the ending kind of wraps it all up. So overall, reading this book was a very lovely experience for me. Now, the characters of this book feel very complex, and that's of course something I feel like John Green does really well. He writes good characters. Obviously, there's mental health issues, another trope of John Green's, but I think he does it very well. It's never actually like diagnosed, and it's not like spoken about explicitly. I mean, she does see therapy, and also the book in the end has like resources. He says if any of this is recognizable to you, you can seek help in these places, which I think is very nice, because I feel like it could be a little triggering for some people. But for me, it worked really well that it wasn't about a girl who is mentally ill. It was about a girl who happened to think this way. And the same with like her friend Daisy, and their friendship was really complex. You got to see like the ups and downs of it, and the struggles they had felt very real. It's not all rosy. The conflicts and the happy moments played together very nicely to create well-rounded characters. The other thing I really liked is that Daisy, Asa's best friend, is a huge Star Wars fangirl. So there's a lot of like fangirl language in it, and unlike most times when adult men try to write 16-year-old girls fangirling over things, it felt quite real. Like, I always feel a bit icky about reading like fangirl terms on things that aren't social media, but I actually think he did it quite well. And some of like, there's mention of fan fiction and like some fan fiction tropes and the way you write that, and I feel like research has been done to portray this fangirl realistically. Now, the final thing I really like about this book is the writing, and of course, you know, that's a really big part of a book is, I mean, words. It's all it is. My first thing, and probably the biggest thing, is the way that Asa's thoughts are written. There's a lot of moments where she's kind of battling her thoughts, and you see like the duality of the way she thinks. I've seen attempts of capturing like the duality of how we think and how there's different layers to our thoughts and our brains before, but I think the way John Green did it was quite seamless. Like, it made sense right from the get-go. And again, like I said, it helped round out the characters, and especially for me, it felt very relatable. And I think for most people, when like one side of your brain is going, you should do this, and then like your more conscious side of the brain is saying, no, that's a really bad idea, and like how that can kind of spiral is a big part of this book. And I thought it was written really well. The second thing about the writing I really liked is the setting. It feels very real. First of all, it's set in a real place. It's set in, and I'm gonna mispronounce this, Indianapolis, Indiana, basically. Which is a real place. It's actually where John Green lives, so that's quite neat. And you could feel that in the way, I don't know if the descriptions of the city is spot on, but it feels like it is. Also, there's references to a lot of like scientific things, both about as an animal that plays a big part of it, and also there's like this C. diff sickness, illness that keeps being brought up. And all of those little facts just did a good job of like grounding it in reality, and it felt very real, and I like that in my young adult fiction. Overall, I think the book is very relatable and down to earth, whilst also being very thought-provoking, because it brings up some topics that makes you think, and like Asa has a lot about like, how do I know if I'm real? And when are my thoughts my own? And it gets very philosophical, but still grounded. It's a very fine line, and I think the book does that very well, and especially, like I said, the ending kind of brings it all together.
And now, a random reading.
I needed to reread that case study of the woman who had no symptoms except of stomach ache and turned out to have C. diff. Can't get out my phone right now, though. She'll get pissed off. But did that woman have some other symptom, at least? Or am I exactly like her? Another twinge. Did she have a fever? Couldn't remember. Shit, it's happening. You're sweating now. She can tell. Should you tell her? She's a doctor. Maybe you should tell her. My stomach hurts a little, I said. You don't have C. diff, she answered. I nodded and swallowed, then said in a small voice, I mean, you don't know that.
The verdict.
So, would I recommend this book? Yes, I would. And I would probably recommend it to ages 13 to like mid-20s. It does deal, like I said, with some mental health things, and it does have a feeling of hope at the end of it. So I definitely think that people who might be struggling with that or is interested in that would get something out of reading it as well. But I think it's very well aimed at like a teenage, young adult, mid-20s kind of age, and I think that's when you'd like relate to it the most. John Green is a really great author, and I think he uses words very well, and the dialogue is very clever, so I would definitely recommend it, and I would give it 5 shut-ups out of 6. So those are my thoughts on Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This book can be bought in most bookstores, I assume. He's a pretty well-known author. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to an online seller that has free shipping. Once again, not sponsored, obviously, but it's a website I use a lot. Free worldwide shipping, sometimes a little cheaper, but it still pays their authors. So it's called Book Depository. There's a link in the description to that. As always, I would love to know what you think. So if you read the book, and you want to talk about it, leave a comment. If you read another book that you think I should read, let me know. If you just want to tell me about your day, then go ahead and do that, and I'll see you down in the comments. And until next time, I hope you have wonderful days full of great, well-written stories. Bye!